we are going to see types of section. Before going to this, I want to mention some more point on the stress strain curve of steel. See, remember, this is the stress and strain curve of a mild steel, which is given in figure 23b of IS 456. This top one is the original curve. Original curve means with the Fy, characteristic curve of Fe250 steel. But as I mentioned in the earlier classes, in limit state method, you will only use the design curve, not the characteristic curve. So if you divide all this characteristic curve divided by 1.15, you will get this curve. That is a design curve. So we are going to use, so once I highlight. So we are going to use this only, this yellow, this one, and this. This is the curve we are going to use throughout your course. Now, suppose, how will you find out what is the stress at this point anywhere in this linear part? So, for that, here is the yield, from here to here it is a linear variation and the stress is proportional to strain, and the strain corresponding to this point is called yield strain epsilon y, and that epsilon y is, how will you find out? You know, the slope of this initial linear part will give you the Young's modulus of steel. So Young's modulus is stress by strain. So strain you can easily find out, strain is equal to stress divided by Young's modulus. So strain at this yield point here is, this I mentioned here, strain at yield epsilon y is equal to 0.87 Fy divided by Es. 0.87 Fy is the characteristic strength of steel is 250 MPa. Divided by Young's modulus of steel, 2 into 10 power 5 Newton per millimeter square. If you do that, you are getting 0.0010875, or you can take 0.00108. That is the strain at the yield. So suppose if in your beam, if the strain in the steel is either it is 0.00108 or less than that, you can always find out stress in the steel is equal to strain in the steel multiplied by Young's modulus of, here ST means S is steel, T is the tensile. Strain in the tensile steel multiplied by Young's modulus of steel will be always less than or equal to 0.87 Fy. Remember, at any even for this strain here, let us say your strain is here, and for that also your stress value will be only 0.87 Fy. So under any case, this FST will not be greater than 0.87 Fy. This FST, or the stress in the tensile steel, will always be less than or equal to 0.87 Fy. Is that understood? Suppose, for example, if I have 0.002, I want to know the strain at 0.002, right? Now, let us say you have a strain epsilon st is 0.002. What will be the stress? Fst is equal to epsilon st is 0.002 into 2 into 10 power 5. So it will become this will become 400 MPa, which is not possible because there is a limitation here, 0.87 Fy. So this FST will always be less than or equal to 0.87 Fy. So 0.87 into Fy is, let us say, 250. It is 217 something. So your value cannot, approximately it is 217. Your FST cannot be more than 270. Is that clear? Because your this your curve is only straight. It is a constant here. It is not increasing. It is a constant at 0.87 Fy. So you have to be very careful in determining this equation. Stress in the steel is equal to strain in the steel multiplied by the Young's modulus of the steel, and that value will always be less than or equal to 0.87 Fy. This is only for Fe250 steel, not for any steel. Fe250 or mild steel. This is called mild steel or Fe250 steel. Okay. Next, Similarly, for Fe415 steel, remember now for Fe415 steel, you have a linear part starting. This is the original curve. This is the original curve. Now divide all these ordinate by 1.15. This is, so that is why it is characteristics curve. Now, if you divide this by 1.15, you will get the design curve. This solid line. The solid line is the design curve. See, the linear part is ending at 0.696 Fy. Your linear part is ending at 0.696 Fy. Okay. Now, how will you find out the strain at yield? Remember here, the strain at yield is not this one. Strain at yield is here. This is also yielding what? And strain at yield is here. That epsilon y is given by this equation. This is also given in your code, page number 69. You will see this code. Yield strain is equal to 0.87 by 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.002, like that. Okay, so here strain at yield is equal to 0.87 Fy by Es plus 0.002. For Fy, if you substitute 415, this will come 0.0038. Suppose, and how will you find out the stress in the steel? You have, suppose if you are from here to here, this is a linear part where stress is proportional to strain. So stress is equal to, stress in the steel is equal to strain in the Young's modulus. So this is not epsilon SC, this is, 1 second. This is epsilon ST. Okay, so the strain in this, if it is less than or equal to 0.696 Fy by S, this is strain. We are finding out strain. Okay, 0.696. This is this one. Fy divided by Es, because up to this point, your Young's modulus you can easily calculate. Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain, or strain is equal to stress by Young's modulus. So 0.696 Fy by Young's modulus, that is the if epsilon St is less than or equal to this value, that means this one here. If we mark it with pen, so here somewhere, this is that one. If this is the epsilon St, that formula is this one, 0.696. So up to this strain, your stress will be linear, so you can find out from this one. Now, how to find out this strain? Suppose if I have at this point, what is the value of stress? So for that, you can easily find out. Similarly, for Fe500 steel also, you have the same curve. You can find out. So for Fe415, the yield strain is 0.0038. Similarly, for Fe500 steel, it is 0.0041. Okay, for Fe500, 0.0041. Now, how to find out? This is the curve which is given in SP16. So here, the more like this is for Fe500 steel, characteristic curve of Fe500. This is the design curve of Fe500. This is Fe415. This is a design curve for Fe415. So here, more detailed strain values and corresponding stress value you can find out for this value. Or in a table also, in many books, table they are given at strain 0, at 0 strain you have 0 stress. At a strain of 1.44 into, this is for Fe415, okay, 1.44 into 10 power minus 3, you have 288.7. Similarly, for all other values, you have strain value, corresponding stress values mentioned here, and this is for Fe500 steel. So if you are up to here, you can easily find out stress value from this equation. If you are from here to here, from here to this value, that is this value, you can find out from this table or from the graph which I saw. After this, any value of strain, your stress will be always equal to 0.87 Fy. Okay, so you might expect some quiz question from these two diagrams, so please pay attention to this. today's quiz. Okay. Now, that is for now stress strain curve, that is finished almost. Now, there are some types of section. That is, one is called balance section, which I earlier also I have explained to you what is balance section, but I will repeat it again here. Under reinforced section and over reinforced section. Okay. Now, what is balance section? What is under reinforced section? What is over reinforced section? First, we will see about balance section. So remember, this is the rectangular cross section of the beam, where this is the width of the beam, the capital D is the overall depth of the beam, small d is the effective depth of the beam, and these are the hanger bar or anchor bar. These are the links or stirrups. These are the main tensile steel. These block dots are main tensile, and this is the cross section of a beam. You know, for a balance section, the corresponding neutral axis depth is defined by XU limit or XU max. The neutral axis, critical depth of neutral axis is called XU limit or XU max. At this point, so XU will be equal to XU limit. Okay, that we will discuss little later. So XU will be equal to XU limit. That is called balance section, where when you are providing the area of steel in such a way that the strain due to loading of the beam, the strain at the concrete in the extreme compression fiber, this area in compression, and the extreme compression fiber is this one, that is this one. At this point, the strain in the concrete will be 0.0035. Simultaneously, the strain in the steel here, at the level of steel also, will attain yield strain. Okay, so that such a section is called balance section. I will repeat, balance section is a one. The area of steel is provided in such a way that upon loading, the concrete will attain its ultimate strain at the extreme compression fiber. Simultaneously, all the steel also will attain its yield same time. Concrete attain its ultimate strain. Similarly, steel starts yielding, and such a area of steel at this time, the area provided here. 1 second. This is called, the area provided here is called AST limit. A is area, S is steel, T is tensile. Area of tensile steel, limiting value. So such an area is called AST limit. Okay. Now, I want your attention to here. Okay. So at this point, the total compressive force will be equal to, 0.36 FCK. Normal equation is XU into V, but because it is XU limit, it will become XU limit for a balance section. So total compressive force resisted by the concrete is 0.36 FCK XU limit into B. At the same time, the tensile force here in the steel will be T is equal to, normally we will write as FST into AST limit in a balance section. Now because your steel started yielding here, this is because strain is yield strain, this FST become 0.87 Fy, because it has attained full value. FST means all the steel, 1, 2, 3, all these three steel has started yielding. So stress in each steel will be 0.87 Fy, and the corresponding area is AST limit. So let us say this is the diameter of one rod. Like that, you have provided three diameter. So T is equal to 0.87 Fy. AST limit is 3 number of bar, pi by 4 into pi square. This is your total tensile force, and this compressive force, okay, this compressive force and this tensile force will always be equal for a body to be in equilibrium. So when you are providing area of steel in such a way that your concrete has attained its maximum value 0.0035 strain, and similarly the steel started yielding. So at that time this particular section is this is not under reinforced section, this is balance section. Under reinforced section will come next. Okay, so here, so at this point this is called balance section where XC will be equal to XC limit. Is there any doubt in this balance section? Anybody? Is there any doubt to anybody? Balance section means what? Is there any doubt? In other words, the concrete and steel will fail simultaneously, because we assume that as soon as steel start failing, we say that steel is failed, and concrete and steel is getting failed simultaneously. Such a section is called balance section, and the corresponding area of steel provided is called AST limit. Corresponding area of steel is called AST limit, and the corresponding neutral axis depth is called XC limit, or critical depth of neutral axis. Okay, or limiting depth of neutral axis. Right? This is called balance section. Any doubt to anybody? Mr. Pavan Sagar is there? 17 series, roll 79. Pavan Sagar. Are you there or you are not there? Yosita is there, roll number 6.
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. Roll number 55, Sri Hari is there. Please mute yourself. Sri Hari. L3 is there, Priyanka. Lateral entry number 3. Okay, anybody have any doubt in this one? So since you not doubt, then we will proceed further. This is called balance section. You should, so this in this section, concrete also failing. Concrete failure will be a brittle failure, and steel is also failing. Steel failure will be a ductile failure. Okay, so both are happening as a balance section. Now, so that's what I told you. T will be 0.87 Fy into AST limit. Similarly, C will be 0.36 FCK XC limit into B. Okay, that is called balance section. Now, concrete attains its maximum strain while simultaneously steel starts to yield. That is called balance section. Now, if you are under reinforced section. Now, what is the difference between balance section and under reinforced section? Focus on this word under. Okay. Now, here what happens is that this is your earlier XC limit, and this is your strain diagram, where epsilon C is 0.0035, epsilon ST is epsilon Y. Now, what I am going to do is, at this balance section, the corresponding steel provided is AST limit. Now, I am going to, let us say, I am going to remove this particular rod. I am going to remove it. So, for AST limit, I am providing AST less than AST limit or not? Because for AST limit, I provided 3 number of rods. Now I have removed one of this rod. So I am providing only 2 rods. So AST will be less than AST limit, isn't it? So since AST is less than AST limit, so what will be the tensile force here? What will be the tensile force by the steel? 0.87 Fy into AST, where since AST is less than AST limit, your T will be less. For example, let us say, I will take one crude example. Let us say, let me erase all these things. Okay, so let us say this is my, I'm removing this rod. So I have T. Let us say in a balance section I have a T of, let us say, 450 kilonewton. Okay, and similarly in the compressive force also I had a 450 kilonewton, let us say. Now since I am removing one of the steel here, my T will be less than 450 or more than 450 for this is for balanced. Now I have removed one of the steel, so T will be less than 450 or more than 450? Less than. Let us say I have got to 350 kilonewton. Okay, right? I have got 350 kilonewton. Total force taken by the tensile steel, this steel and this steel is, let us say, 350 kilonewton. Now you have the unequal. See, your concrete can take 450 kilonewton. Your steel take only 350 kilonewton. So when you load the structure, which will fail first? Steel will fail first or concrete will fail first? Because concrete can resist up to 450, steel can resist only 350. Which will fail first? Steel will fail first. Okay, and steel is a ductile material or brittle material?
Ductile
Material. So see, so very good. So now you see, because you are reducing the area of steel, your steel will yield first. Here up to here the strain will have come in a steel, but at this time, what will be the strain in the concrete? Will it be 0.0035 or no? Let us say you have provided less than this one. At 350 kilonewton it is failed, it started yielding. At this time, the strain in the concrete will be 0.0035 or less than 0.0035? In the strain in the concrete, I'm saying here, concrete is taking 450 kilonewton, steel is taking only 350 kilonewton. So at the time of 350 kilonewton, what will be the strain in the concrete? It will be less or equal to 0.0035 or more than 0.0035? Is the question clear? Since my steel is taking only 350 kilonewton, my steel started yielding. My concrete can take a strain up to 450 kilonewton. At 450 kilonewton, my strain is 0.0035. Now the load is produced only 350 kilonewton. Let us say at 350 kilonewton, this strain will be 0.0035 or lesser than 0.0035. Tanusha, roll number 13.
Yes.
See, in a balance section, compression and tension are both are 450 kilonewton. So both has failed simultaneously. Now here I have removed one steel area, one of the steel I removed. So I have got tensile force only 350 kilonewton, whereas my concrete can still 450 kilonewton it can take. Now at this point, my steel started yielding. That is epsilon ST is equal to epsilon Y at 350 kilonewton. Now at 350 kilonewton in the concrete, the strain will be 0.0035 or lesser than 0.0035.
0.335, sir. 35, sir.
That is for
Constant,
450.
sir.
That is for 450 kilonewton.
Yes, sir.
It will be less.
It will be lesser, right? Because your concrete can take more force. So obviously, let us say at this time I have only this much of strain in the concrete. Now, if I join this two, okay, let me join here. We will take this block. Okay. So now if you see, my strain is only this much. My strain is only this much. This is my strain in the concrete. This is epsilon C, which will be less than 0.0035. Now, if you see here, where is the zero strain? Zero strain is here. Zero strain is here. right? So here my zero strain has become here. So this is my, this has become XU now. Because now in an under reinforced section, because you are providing AST less than AST limit, your steel will yield first, so your failure will be ductile, and correspondingly the strain in the concrete will be less than the ultimate strain at that point of time. So obviously your neutral axis depth will be less than XU limit. Is that clear? Any doubt in this one? Anybody have any doubt? So when you provide lesser and lesser steel, your neutral axis depth is going to go on decrease. Because why so? Why it is going to decrease? Because your because strain is less. So now in this equation, if you put T is equal to 0.36 FCK XU into B, because XU is less than XU limit, this also will become 350 kilonewton. So equilibrium is maintained. Okay. Although for balanced section it can take 450 kilonewton, since your XU has reduced to less than XU limit, so your compressive force will be 0.36 FCK XU into B. This will become 350 kilonewton. Since this also 350 kilonewton, this will be equilibrium. So that I am showing here in the presentation now. So now in under reinforced section, this is the your epsilon C is less than epsilon Cu. Focus here. One second. So here we are providing AST less than AST limit, so steel starts yielding. At that time, the strain in the concrete will be less than the ultimate strain. That value is this one. Epsilon C is less than epsilon Cu. Now, if you see in the strain diagram, your zero strain has is moved up. So your the more and more you are reducing your AST, your neutral axis will shift more and more towards the top, or your neutral axis will become lesser and lesser than XU limit. Now at this point, this is your diagram. This is your actual neutral axis. This is actual neutral axis where this is XU and XU is less than XU limit. Such a section is called under reinforced section. In under reinforced section, three things please note down. XU is less than XU limit. AST is less than AST limit, and because steel will fail before concrete fails, the failure will be always be a ductile failure. It is not a brittle failure, and this is what we always design the structure for, because we want, and before failing, the structural element will give you sufficient warning. Okay, I am going to fail. Please repair it. Otherwise, in due time, it is going to get failed like that. It will come. So that is the thing here. Okay. So now, if you see here, okay, erase this. Okay. Okay. So here compressive force acting at 0.42 XU and C will be 0.36 FCK XUB. T is 0.87 FY AST. Okay. Now here, suppose now the point is, let us say you are further loading and further loading and further loading. Your strain in the steel is going to keep on increasing like this, in this way, until your this become a fulcrum, this become a center of your this one. This will always be zero, the strain. So your as soon as it reaches 0.0035, your structure will fail because of concrete only. See, either it's a balanced section or under reinforced section or over reinforced section. The failure, final failure will take place because your concrete is attaining the strain of 0.0035, because concrete is a brittle material. But steel can keep on yielding. It can go up to here also. if you see sometime when you test the steel, if you see strain value will be 0.2, 0.20, 0.105, 115 like that and all. But here the strain value is only 0.0035. So although steel can go on yielding, but before steel experience the full failure, concrete will fail. At that time, we will say that the structure is entirely failed. So initial failure is due to steel, but the final failure will always be by the concrete only. Okay, so in an under reinforced section, steel starts yielding before concrete attain its maximum strain. This is the first important thing to remember. This is under reinforced section. Okay, now over reinforced section. Let us say this again we will start with balanced section, XC limit, and at the balanced section the strain in the extreme concrete fiber is 0.0035, and steel also yielded simultaneously. Now I am going to provide AST more than this. Let us say you are providing AST greater than AST limit. So obviously you have T is equal to 0.87 Fy into AST. Now this tensile force will take more than 450. Tensile steel will take more than 450. Now compression force by concrete will be 450 only, but this will be more than 450. So which will fail first? Concrete will attain strain first, or steel start yielding first? Let us say because you increased the AST, now T become, let us say 600 kilonewton, and concrete can take only 450 kilonewton. Which will attain the failure first?
Concrete, sir.
Concrete. So concrete will attain its failure strain first. At that time, the strain in the steel will be less than yield. So let us say I am going to mark this is my, when the concrete fails, my strain in the steel here it is less than, this epsilon is less than epsilon y, because epsilon y means here it has to come here. This is epsilon y. So, but since your concrete is taking lesser load than the steel, concrete will fail first. At that time, your strain in the steel, tensile steel will be much less than the yield strain. So what is happening now? You see here, now the zero strain has become here. So now here the neutral axis, this is the neutral axis depth. Now I am going to erase this for the sake of clarity. So now you see your XU here, this XU, it has become more than XU limit. So in a over reinforced section, your XU will be greater than XU limit. That is, you can see here, this is XU limit. In the right top, you can see XU limit is there. Here, XU is greater than XU limit, and other things are okay. So here, concrete attains its maximum strain before steel starts yielding. So, but this is very dangerous because steel is a ductile material, concrete is a brittle material. So when you are providing more steel than the required, your concrete is going to fail first, and concrete is a brittle material, and the failure is going to be completely sudden failure. Suddenly it will break without giving any warning. So this is a very dangerous design. You are doing two things. You are providing more amount of steel than the AST limit. Means remember, the cost of steel is 70 times higher than the cost of the concrete. So you are increasing the cost of construction by providing more steel, and also you are making the structure vulnerable to a sudden failure, making it a brittle failure. So this is very dangerous. That is why in the practice, actual practice, we will never design a section as a over reinforced section. We will always design a section as an under reinforced section, because balanced section is very, very, very difficult to attain. So we always design a structure as an under reinforced section. Okay. So to sum up, for a balanced section, XU is greater than XU max or XU limit. And ME limit can be found out by either this formula 0.36 FCK XE limit D into D minus 0.4 to XE limit, or you can also find out 0.87 FY AST limit into D minus 0.4 to XE limit. You can use this or this because concrete is also failing and steel also failing. That is why you can use any equation you can use. Both will be same. At this point of time, the stress in the tensile steel will be 0.87 Fy and AST will be equal to AST limit. Okay, this is for a balanced section. Now, for under reinforced section, when XU is less than XU max, such a section is called under reinforced section. In under reinforced section, remember this word under reinforced means reinforced less than the AST limit, balanced section. Under reinforced means steel starts yielding first. That way the failure will be ductile failure. It's very economical because you are full steel, because you are making the steel to yield. You are utilizing the full steel provided. That's why it becomes very economical. The design will be very economical. And the stress in the steel is 0.87 Fy and the area of steel is less than AST limit. This AST is less than AST limit. XU is less than XU limit. Strain in the concrete is less than 0.0035. Not always, only at the time of yield. Okay, at the time of yield of steel, strain in the concrete is less than 0.005. It gives sufficient warning before failure because the ductile failure. We are going to see one video how it gives warning before failure. And if for under reinforced section, if you want to find out the neutral axis depth is XU, this XU value, you can find out from this value. Remember, in an under reinforced section, remember somebody asked question 2 classes before. While finding out moment of resistance, when to use 0.36 FCK XCB equation, when to use 0.87 Fy AST equation. Now, if a section is under reinforced section, you will always use 0.87 Fy because your stress in the steel is equal to 0.87 Fy. That is why you will use this equation. You cannot use 0.36 FCK equation because you can use it for certain time that I will let you know, but if you have under reinforced section, the moment of resistance is come from the steel section only. 0.87 Fy AST D into 1 minus Fy into AST divided by FCK into BD. You can see in 1.1 B in page number 96. Okay. Now over reinforced section, when XU is greater than XU max, you have a over reinforced section. In over reinforced section, concrete attains its ultimate strain before steel starts yielding. So, because concrete is getting attained ultimate strain, the failure will be brittle and it's a sudden failure. It is uneconomical as you are providing more steel and the steel is not at all getting yielded also. So, underutilization of provided steel. Stress in the steel will be less than 0.87 Fy. Remember this. Stress in the steel in over reinforced section will be less than 0.87 Fy. So you cannot use this equation 0.87 Fy. Okay, in this here because stress is less than 0.87 Fy. AST is provided more than AST limit. Now strain in the concrete will be 0.0035. And here because over reinforced section is not allowed, we will find out moment of resistance equal to ME limit itself. And ME limit you can find out using this equation. Okay, 0.36 FCK XE limit B unity. While discussing the problem, you will understand these things much more clear. But for now, you should know what is under reinforced section is, what is over reinforced section is, what is balanced section is. As I told you in the practice, we will always prefer under reinforced section, never over reinforced section because this failure is sudden failure, brittle failure. It may collapse suddenly all the structure, but here it gives you sufficient warning before the failure. So we always design a structure for under reinforced section, right? Okay, now here we, beams are designed for bending moment. Like before going this, is there any doubt so far? Anybody? If you have doubt, please ask. Anybody having any doubt? What is balanced section? What is under reinforced section? What is over reinforced section? This is very, very important question. Remember, when you keep on decreasing the AST, your XE is going on decreasing because it is a linear relationship. XU is linearly related with the AST. when you start reducing AST, your Xe is going to go on decreasing. Okay, for a fixed grade of steel and section, if you reduce AST, Xe is going to go on decreasing. Similarly, if you keep on increasing AST, Xe is going to go on increasing. Okay. Now, beams are member that are primarily subjected to bending or flexure and often support slabs. In any structure, beams are provided to support the slab, and slab will take the load, live load, dead load, all those things. Okay. Now, the girder in industrial section, the girder also, so like a bridge also you have girder. Girder is also used to represent the beam, but it is usually a large beam that may support several beams. A girder can support many other beams. That is called girder. Now, singly reinforced beams means what? Because you should know this term. In an RC beam of a rectangular cross section, if the main reinforcement is provided only in the tension zone, it is called a singly reinforced rectangular beam. Remember, if you are providing main steel, that is, this word is very important, main reinforcement, because in the compression sole also we will provide a hanger bar or anchor bar. Hanger bar or anchor bar is not a main reinforcement. The main reinforcement which takes the tensile force, that is called main reinforcement. If it is provided only in the tension zone, that is called singly reinforced rectangular beam. Now, what is doubly reinforced beam? If the main reinforcements are provided in both the compression and the tension zone, it is called doubly reinforced beams, rectangular beam. Okay, singly reinforced beams, your main reinforcement is there only in the tension zone. Doubly reinforced beam means your main tension reinforcements are there in the compression zone as well as in the tension zone. Now, there are two types of problem. One is analysis. In analysis, they will give you the geometry of the beam. They will give you the reinforcement details. They may ask you to find out what is the capacity, what is the moment resistance capacity of the beam, or what is the load it can take. That is called analysis problem. And second type of problem, they will give you span of the beam, they will give you the load acting on the beam, they will ask you to design. Design situation occurs in a new building where one has to arrive at the depth, breadth and the reinforcement detail for the beam to safely and economically resist the external applied load. So if you are designing the breadth, the depth and the reinforcement area, that is called design. If you are finding out what is the moment resisted capacity or the load that can carry, that's called analysis problem. Okay, so now behavior of RC beam, singly reinforced rectangular beam behaves as a plain concrete beam until it cracks. For example, let us say what it says is, I will say what is uncracked section, what is cracked section and all. Let us say this is a beam. Okay, this is a simply supported beam. This is the UDL it is subjected to. Now this is the tensile steel provided at the bottom. This is called a singly reinforced rectangular beam because the cross section is rectangle. Cross section of this beam is rectangle. Okay. Now bending causes tensile and compressive friction in the cross section of the beam because above the neutral axis these are all compression, below the neutral axis these are all tensile. And the nature of this stress depends upon the position of the fiber in the beam and also the type of support. So if you are here, if your fiber is somewhere here, you are in compressive stress. If your fiber is somewhere here, it is in tensile stress. As long as the moment is small, because of this external load, there will be some moment developed in the beam. As long as the moment is small and does not induce cracking in the structure, the strain across the cross section are small, and the neutral axis is the centroid of the cross section. For example, you apply a very little load. That means if you see the strain and stress will be linear only. Both are linear. Strain value also linear, stress also linear because your load is much small. Now the stresses are related to strain and deflection is proportional to load as in the case of isotropic homogeneous linear. Because your load is very low, that means you are operating. One second. Suppose, let us say, suppose Let us say you have stress strain curve. Now you are loading the structure up to only linear part. Although your curve may be somewhere here, but you are applying only load up to only linear part. That is, the load is very small because stress is proportional to strain. You are seeing this stress also linear, strain also linear. This stress also linear, strain also linear. Suppose if you further at this time, suppose if your moment is very small, the entire cross section is very effective in resisting the moment, external moment. It is not producing any crack at the bottom. That means your tensile stress is less than the tensile stress of strength of concrete. So in this case, there will not be any crack developed at the bottom. So that is why it is called uncracked section. This is called uncracked section. In uncracked section, your strain and stresses are very small and that are linear. Now, what is cracked section? When the load is increased, the extreme tension fiber of the beam crack as the stress reaches the value of model of rupture. At this stage, maximum strain in concrete in tension and compression are still low. Now, for example, let us say you increase the further load, because this fiber is called subjected to tension, it will form crack at the bottom. At the bottom, there will be crack. So, what do we do? All the tension zone in the tension concrete in the tension zone is neglected because crack is formed. So already section is cracked. So the concrete will not be there to take full section. For example, if you take a section here, you have only this much concrete available because after below this it is already cracked. So you have only this much concrete is available to take the external force, and when you load further, it will crack is going keep on extending. So that is why you see yield strength is less. The steel, you only increase the load slightly more, so there is a crack developed. So at that time, steel is not fully yielded. Now at what point of time this crack starts develop, that your board gives a formula. The cracking moment is equal to FCR multiplied by the moment of inertia, gross moment of inertia divided by YT. So what is this FCR? FCR is it is given in page number 88 of IS 456 in Annex C. FCR is called modulus of rupture or the tensile strength, which is equal to 0.7 times root FCK. 0.7 times root FCK. FCK is what? Anybody can tell what is FCK?
Compressive strength of concrete.
Characteristic compressive strength of concrete. Yes, exactly. So modulus of rupture 0.7 times root FCK. That is FCR. IG is you remove this steel. Consider that. 1 second. Put in point more. You remove this steel. I gross means what I am explaining. You take this beam as an entire beam, entirely uncracked beam. So BD cube by 12, that is your I gross. I gross is the moment of inertia of cross section neglecting this reinforcement. That is moment of inertia. YT is the distance of extreme tension fiber from the central axis. That is this D by 2. D by 2 is the YT. So this is the cracking moment. If your applied moment is more than cracking moment, then crack starts develop. Okay, suppose if your applied moment, as the load is increased further, extensive cracking occurs. The crack also widen and propagate gradually towards neutral axis. So here I will show in the figure form. Here, when you apply more and more load, the crack keeps on increasing. What will happen after a certain time? All the tensile force will be transferred to the tensile steel. So tensile steel will start taking all the tensile forces. So once steel is subjected to tensile stress, like here you can see the strain in the steel become more than the yield strain, because your steel started yielding, because entire tensile force is taken by the steel alone. So your steel got yielded. Now at that time the stress is very, you see, it's a curved variation. Here the stress is varying in a curved version. So here you see, as the load is increased further, extensive cracking occurs. The crack also widen and propagate gradually towards neutral. Initially the crack may be only here. It is percolating like this towards the neutral axis. The cracked portion of the concrete beam is ineffective in resisting the tensile stresses. There is a sudden transfer of tension force from concrete to the steel reinforcement in the tension zone. Because cracks are developing, concrete is not able to take tensile force. So that tensile force is transferred to the tensile steel present here. Now, if the load is increased further, the tensile stress in the reinforcement and the compression stress in the concrete increases further. The stresses over the compression zone will become non-linear. That's this stress will become non-linear. However, the strain distribution over the cross section is linear. This strain is always a linear only because it is according to the assumption. At one point, either the steel or concrete will reach its respective capacity. Steel will start to yield or the concrete will crush. So either the concrete will crush here or steel will start yielding. So this is cracked section. Okay. In a cracked section, you have only very little portion for the concrete to resist. Already crack is developed, tension force is taken by concrete. But in uncracked portion, entire section is available to take the external forces. Okay, so now I will show you what is under reinforced section. The reinforced section in which the tension steel reaches the yield strain before load that causes the concrete to reach failure strain in bending compression is called under reinforced section. Okay, yielding of tensile steel will not result in sudden collapse of the beam. It results in non-linear deflection leading to extrinsic gravity. Finally, the beam will collapse due to crushing of concrete and tension. See, the final failure will be crushing of concrete, but the initial will be due to yielding of steel in under reinforced section. Now, you see here one video. I download from YouTube only, so you can see bending failure of an under reinforced section.
This video shows an under-reinforced concrete beam being tested.
Are you able to hear the sound from video?
Yes, sir.
No, right now not. When I played at that time, were you able to hear sound? Very low. So you have to increase from yourself because my side it is full. Okay, I will see.
This video shows an under-reinforced concrete beam being tested in bending. The specimen is made from concrete containing regular Portland cement. The rebar is regular reinforcing steel.
Oh, sorry, there is some problem. I will play from here. It is much easier. Are you able to hear? Now you will hear after some time. Let us see.
The specimen is.
Are you able to hear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Made from concrete containing regular Portland cement. The rebar is regular reinforcing steel. The loading diagram shows the beam being subject to 4-point bending. The testing rig is now starting to apply vertical.
Now you see the load is increasing.
And we can see that it is deflecting and starting to crack. This means that the steel in the beam is taking up the tension that is developing in the lower.
You see here, there is a crack developing.
So if we take a closer look now, we can see the
crack is appearing, you see.
Steel takes the tension. The steel starts to yield, which allows the beam to deflect greatly, and eventually the beam fails.
See, now compression failing.
The graph initially shows a linear relationship between applied load and vertical displacement in its span. This is
so that is under reinforced section where you can very clearly see the crack developing first, and crack is propagating towards the neutral axis. So you have sufficient warning to rectify your structure. Now come to over reinforced section. The RC section in which failure failure strain of concrete in bending compression is reached earlier than the load causes yield strain in the tensile steel are called over-reinforced section. The moment capacity of an under-reinforced beam is controlled by the steel, whereas for an over-reinforced beam it is controlled by concrete. So now you see here, this is over-reinforced section, how it fails.
This video shows an over-reinforced concrete beam being tested in bending. The specimen is made from concrete containing regular Portland cement. The rebar is regular reinforcing steel. The loading diagram shows the beam being subject to 4-point bending. The testing rig is now starting to apply vertical loads to the specimen. We can see the beam displacing and cracks opening up on the tension side of the beam as expected. Then all of a sudden, the concrete in the top surface of the beam fails explosively. Right, let's slow down the footage. Let's look at the top surface. Remember that the top side of the beam is under compression. Because we have heavily reinforced the lower part of the beam, which allows a large amount of tension to be carried, the same large amount of compression needs to be carried by the concrete near the top. This causes the concrete to crush before the steel has a chance to yield.
There is no crack
Now,
failure.
for a structural engineer, that's a bad way for a beam to fail, because concrete crushing is brittle, it's sudden, and you don't get the gradual failure that you'd obtain in an under-reinforced beam. The graph shows an
So finally, balanced section is in which the tension steel reaches yield strain at the same load as the concrete reaches failure strain in bending compression, called balanced section, right? So